Yo, what's good, fam? Welcome to PNP. It is your boy Rashad, one half of PNP, and today we have another entry into the Sign or Walk series. Yes, it's on fire, fam. I'm loving all the feedback from Sign or Walk. The views are up. Let's keep hitting the like button. Let's keep hitting that subscribe button. Let's keep hitting that notification bell and getting in the comments and getting into the healthy debate. Let's always keep it respectful, which you guys have been. Credit to you guys. But let's keep it respectful and let's debate about it. I think this is another one that could be rather polarizing, but I'm gonna give my opinion. But Daquan Jones, let's get into it. All right, so Daquan Jones, let's talk about a little bit of history before we get into the actual Sign or Walk content. Now, Daquan Jones is a guy that was signed he was a free agent after the Tennessee Titans let him walk. He was a captain for the Tennessee Titans as well. Going back to his draft season, he was one of the top rated defensive tackles rated by some analysts coming into the 2013 season. Now, he ended up signing a one-year contract with the Carolina Panthers in April and was much needed at the time. If you can recall, our run defense was straight trash last year. We couldn't stop anything. Derrick Brown was on his own. Kawan Short went down. And we brought in Daquan Jones, and I thought at the time was a very, very good under the radar signing where nobody's really paying attention. He didn't sign a huge deal. It was a deal that worked out for both sides, and we got it done. Now, let's go ahead and get into some of these different categories. Again, if you're new to the Sign or Walk series, we got 5 different categories that we talk about: age, position of value, durability, asking price, and production, whether his production is replaceable or not. Let's break these down, and then we'll make the determination on whether we should bring back Daquan Jones or let him walk. Let's get into it. Now, I know a lot of people, he's 30 years old, and I know a lot of people say that, once you hit 30 years old, that's a wrap. I'm not going to quite say that, but I think he's been playing good football, so I'm not going to kill him for his age just yet. He's been performing relatively well considering the circumstances, so I'm not gonna say he's over the hill. I think he's got 2 more good years left in him, and then we're like, all right, we got to kind of walk away. So age, I think he's fine. I'm not concerned about age. Position of value. Now, I don't think the interior defensive tackle position is a huge position of value. Now, I think you can't just put anybody there, but I also don't think you should be spending extreme amount of money unless you have an Aaron Donald or unless you have a Vita Vea or something like that, a pure dominant interior tackle. And Daquan Jones, while I think he's a good player, is not dominant, and I don't think he's one of those guys where I'm like, trying to sign him for a $20 million per year contract. That's just not happening. So I don't think the position is as valuable. You can get these guys I'm not gonna say dime a dozen, but you can get a defensive tackle in the draft and be just fine with it, as long as your scheme and your defensive coordinator knows what the hell they're doing. So position of value, I'm not gonna say it's a high position of value. Durability. Now, going back to 2017, I think he did tear his bicep back in the day, but we haven't seen any kind of remnants of that. He's been playing pretty well. He caught COVID last year. So other than that, man, he's been relatively fine. He played all games this year, didn't miss any games. So relatively durable, and I think he checks that box relatively easy. Asking price. Now, I don't think he's going to ask for a huge amount of money. If you look at the contract that he signed last year, signed a 1-year, $4 million deal. I don't think that's terrible. I think it was fully guaranteed. So I don't think that's not a terrible deal considering what he brought to the table. I think we could do better there, but I don't think that's a huge amount to ask for Daquan Jones. I wouldn't re-sign him to something higher than that. I think a 1-year or 2-year, $4 million deal on average is about right. I wouldn't go any higher than that, and that's what he got last year. So I think that's manageable for sure. Is his production replaceable? I think yes. If you look at what the Panthers have on the roster, you have a Davion Nixon, you have a Phil Hoskins. Both of those guys looking to kind of make their impact. Davion Nixon, ended up going on IR, and I feel like he was kind of showing some signs of taking the next step. Now, I will say this. I think they are 2 different types of defensive tackles. Daquan Jones is 320 pounds. So is Derrick Brown. They're both 320-pound defense. Phil Hoskins and Davion Nixon are lighter type interior defensive tackles. They're more pass rushing type defensive tackles. Davion Nixon is, I think, 305 pounds. And Phil Hoskins is like 280, 290 or something like that. So the different types of tackles. You can go out and draft a guy and replace a Daquan Jones, in my opinion. I think his production is replaceable. He was very up and down. I think he would have a great game, then he would disappear. Have a great game, then he would disappear again. Finished the season strong. If you look at his last 2 PFF grades, he had an 80.7 grade against New Orleans and a 74.9 grade against Tampa Bay. So he finished the year strong, but he also had some very bad games. Going back to that Washington game, he graded out a 29.8. He had some 50s, a couple of 50s in that course of the season. So up and down. So I definitely think you can replace a Daquan Jones, and for that reason, I think you gotta let Daquan Jones walk. Now, I know a lot of y'all probably gonna say, yeah, we need him. He provides leadership, which is great. I think you're absolutely right. But I think Derrick Brown is gonna take another step forward in year 3. If you go back to my Derrick Brown video on why I think people calling Derrick Brown a bust was very premature, I think year 3 is the year that Derrick Brown proves his number 1 draft status, or wherever he was drafted in the top 10. I think he's gonna prove that to you guys this year. So I think Derrick Brown's going to take the next step. You still have Bravion Roy, who I think is okay. He's also very up and down. And then you got Davion Nixon, who I think is going to take another step in year 2. Phil Hoskins could take another step. He's a 7th round pick, so I don't expect him to go crazy. But I also think you can draft another defensive tackle to replace him. I think if you want to start pinching pennies, I think defensive tackle is where you can kind of get away with it. And a 1-year, $4 million deal, or $4 million deal on average, I think you can kind of cut that and look elsewhere to kind of recoup some money. So that's my opinion. I think you can let Daquan Jones walk. Again, I do think he had some very good games, but he also had some very lackluster games. And what I'm looking for out of my defensive tackles is consistency. I need to see that consistency week in and week out, and we didn't see that with Daquan Jones. So that being said, like I said, that's my sign-up walk for Daquan Jones. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Get in the comments. Let's have a healthy debate. I know a lot of you guys are probably going to say we should re-sign Daquan Jones, and I wouldn't argue against it. I would not be mad if we re-sign Daquan Jones. I think he offers a lot, and he's a bigger body too. At 320 pounds, he provides that beef on the interior paws that I think we do need. I do think we need like a 6'3", 330, 340 pound nose tackle that can really allow Derrick Brown to freely wreak havoc upon the interior of that offensive line. So that's my opinion. I think we should go in the draft and try to get one. Maybe look within the free agency and see if we can find something. But worst case scenario, you can always bring back Daquan Jones and run it back with him. But again, I would be looking elsewhere or giving my young guys an opportunity to kind of refill or replace Daquan Jones. All right, like, subscribe, notification bell, get the comments, let me know what's good. I'm out. Peace.